So don't fear, but just be at your best behavior, though. That's all I'm asking. All right. As always. I don't even consider. All right. Question 1. Biff purchased that home for $345,750. He has a down payment. The bank offered an interest rate over 20 years. Calculate the monthly payment. So to find the payment, you should have these formulas on your study sheet. Okay, start having that. So I basically take, okay, the price. If there's a down payment, you need to take it off. Otherwise, you're going to be paying on the entire mortgage, but you don't want to, right? That's why the down payment is there for. And this rate is going to get you a mark. Okay, that's why this is worth 2 points. So let me just go 3.25 over 20 years, 5.66. Yeah, 5.66 is the rate, and this ends up being 305,750, right? So that's the loan that you're paying this rate on, and your answer is 1730.55. Okay. So that's the answer right there. I guess that's just to confirm you're on the right track, right? Yeah. Next we have the same question, same mortgage, but it says calculate the interest paid on the first month's payment. You should recognize that they're asking for lowercase I. Lowercase I tells you to take the loan, multiply it by the interest rate divided by 100. What is the interest rate? It's right there. So 3.25, we're going to divide that by 100 and then plug it in there. That gives you 0.0325. Do not round this one, okay? And then we're going to take that and divide it by 12. So 305,750 times 0.0325 divided by 12, and that's 828.07. So on the first month's payment, so you're gonna work hard, right, for your money. You're all gonna work hard. 828 goes to their pockets. That's the interest that you pay on that first payment. Okay. Next page. Oh, where are the marks allocated, Mr. Dirksen? 1 mark for doing this, and then 1 mark for getting the correct rate. And then obviously you need to get the right answer, right, to get the full 2 out of 2. So if I see you setting it up like this and you get a different answer, I usually only take off half, because you're showing me that you know what you're doing. Okay. So this page is, first one is 2, the second one is just 1 mark, right? So the page is worth 3. This page is worth 3. Backside, same mortgage, same as question 1. It says the total interest paid over the life of the mortgage. Total interest is the payment, right, times 12, because there are 12 months in a year. Then you multiply it by the number of years that we're talking about, so it's 20. You have to subtract the original loan from it, right? So this is 305,750. Sorry, you can see that, right? So this is paid to the bank. This is how much they gave you in the first place. That difference is the interest, the total interest, which is 109,582 exactly. Okay. $sign. So you would get half for this, half for that, and then a full mark for getting that final answer. Right? So half for this, half for that, and then full mark for the final answer. And it's right there. Okay? So this is all vehicle finance stuff, just so you know, right? Next. Bianca pays a monthly payment of $687.23 on her mortgage. $464.98 of her blended payment goes towards interest. How much goes towards the principal? This goes back to this very simple concept that a payment is made up of I, right, interest, and P, pi. Pi makes your payment, right? Like if you want to look at it that way. So they're telling you that your payment is $687.23. They have to give you one of these. In this case, they give you this one. Okay. So to get this, you're just going to go $687.23 minus $464.98. And that is $222.25. $222.25. So 1 mark for that. So this page is also worth 3. So 3 and 3, 6, right? Where does this money go to? What does this do? It does this. If you look at your big bar here, the big bar that you owe the bank, $305,750. The very first payment is just going to go and just knock that off just a little bit. Right? It's going to break it down just a little bit. And the next month, a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So it's like a little pebble towards a brick wall at the beginning. But over time, you're going to pay faster. So there's that. Okay, so 6 marks. Put your name and last name and hand it in. Flip it upside down so nobody sees your name on it. And get your booklets out. Couple things here before I move on. So this is on page 5. Okay, state and explain how you can lower your monthly payments. And I always like to tell students, well, let's look at to get your payment. Right, there's the price minus the down, and there's a rate divided by 1,000. This rate is influenced by 2 things. What determine that rate? What are 2 things that you need to get that rate? Yeah, so amortization and the interest rate. So if you think about it, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 things that can be changed, right? However, I will basically focus on amortization. You want to lower your monthly payment. So what would you need to do to amortization? Increase it or decrease it? If you want a lower payment, you need to take longer to pay off, right? Because you have more time. So increase the amortization period. Sure. Take longer to pay off. That's basically the fancy way of saying take longer to pay off. So instead of 20 years, take 25 years. Instead of 25 years, take 30 years. There was a time where you got 40-year mortgages. Not anymore. I think the banks go 35. Like 30 is like stretching it. They don't want that long. The other thing is the down payment. What would you have to do to the down payment to lower your monthly payments? Increase it, right? The more you pay off, increase the down payment. Save up more. Save up more. One thing I'm going to say about down payment, let's say you save up 40 grand. That's a pretty impressive sum, by the way. Some of you might are on your way there. Don't use it all to down payment. Don't put all of it towards down payment. Why would I say that? Like, why would I tell you to do that? Because when you own a house, there's going to be a lot of unexpected expenses that you don't foresee. So if I had 40 grand, I would say pay down 25 and keep 15, right? Let's say a year goes by, you're like, nah, I don't need 15. Go ahead and pay it off, right? You can always pay off extra on your mortgage. But if once you put it down, you can't take it back. You can't say, hey, I want my 15 grand back. And it's like, no, you made the down payment. That's done, right? You can't do that. So just an advice for you. This is what I'm going to say. Interest rate is difficult to reduce. So I'm not really gonna say, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, go shop for a lower interest rate. It's gonna be fairly even across the board, maybe off by 0.25% or something like that. So yes, it is valid to go and shop for a lower interest rate, but it's hard to reduce. And the price usually we assume that, how would I say this, that it's non-negotiable. Like, that's the kind of price range you're looking for. We assume that the price stays the same. Okay, so yes, you can say I'm going to go shop for a cheaper house, but let's say you want to live in Seven Oaks, right? In Seven Oaks area, like, and the houses in that area are just like, this is just the kind of price we're looking at. You can't say, oh, I'm going to go find a house for 200,000, right? Good luck, right? So I don't like to mention these two. I rather amortization, you absolutely have say in that, and the down payment, you have control over that, right? So let's just put it that way. Next. So this is study sheet material. I would just have like small little like bullets in there to help me. State and explain the advantages of owning a home. What are some advantages? This is going to come up again and again, okay? We're going to talk about disadvantages as well. But advantages is the big one, is you build this word. Oops, sorry. What did I do there? You build equity. Okay? You build equity. This is the difference between what you owe and what the house is worth. What? I would have that down in case I asked you to explain. The difference between what you owe and what the house is worth is what we call equity. Okay. Let me just consult with my payments remain constant, right? Remain constant. They're basically, at least over a 5-year stretch, you're not going to change. It's going to stay put, right? You have the ability. You have the ability to renovate or upgrade. can't do that when you're renting, right? When you're renting, you can't even paint the walls for some, like I had to ask permission to paint a room. And then they said, yeah, you can do it, but before you leave, you need to paint it back to white. Like you can't just leave it that color. I'm like, okay. So think about it, right? You can't renovate. You can rent out a room to supplement income. That's actually very important, right? The fact that you can rent out a room to supplement your income. More privacy, but this one, if buying a house, if you buy a condo, you can't use this one really because it's the same as renting, right? You're living, you have neighbors underneath. In a sense, this is just me. A condo is to me a bit scarier than renting because once you buy, you're locked in for 5 years. Can you just move? Can you just take up and move? No, that you would pay a significant penalty. If you're renting, it's a lot easier to just get out of there, right? That's just my perspective on things. Okay, let's talk about some disadvantages, right? So we talked about advantages, and now we're going to talk about disadvantages. Well, there are. I make it seem like it's all just rosy owning a home. No, I'm just willing to put up with the disadvantages. Okay, higher repairs or maintenance costs. Okay, you are responsible for broken appliances, furnace, roof replacement. I just did that last summer. $11,000. It's a lot of money. You know what I used for it? Equity. The equity in my home. I did not have that cash lying around. So I went to my bank. Oh yeah, you've got tons of equity. Just throw it on there, right? Throw it on your mortgage. Yeah. Go ahead. Let's keep going. You pay all bills, right? So you have hydro, water, cable, etc. Right? I'll add this because this is kind of unique. Insurance, property taxes, etc. And these add up to a lot. Like I'm not kidding you. I think it adds up to $1,000 a month for me, right? So just putting it out there. What is hydro and gas? The bill is like it's split into two. You get one bill, but it's hydro is electricity, right? Electricity and gas, right? So it's hydro. When I talk hydro, I'm talking about both, right? Most apartments, if you rent, most of them have hydro included. And if you pay for hydro, it's so small, like you don't even worry about it. Okay. It's more difficult to relocate. Okay. So if you need to move because of a job opportunity, some people need to move. Like if you graduate if you take something university college and you want to be in that field, you might have to move, right? It's harder to do that. You are locked in with the mortgage, right? The bank has you locked in most likely. Okay. Last one here, because then you have enough. There are more, but higher startup costs, right? You need a down payment, right? Renos, that's a question mark, etc., right? You need a lot more money to get a house than you need to rent. Rent, you need a deposit, maybe half of the rent. Like let's say rent is $1,200. Most apartments are gonna, landlords are gonna charge you half of rent, and they're gonna keep it until you move out. If you wreck the place, they're gonna hold on to that deposit, right? So there we go. That's pretty good for this page. And let's move on to, go ahead. We're going to move something that you should be familiar with. Oh, sorry. Yeah. We're going to go to page 9, I think. Just going to wait for, yeah, page 9. Remember amortization tables? Do you remember those? Did I do them in vehicle finance? I'm not sure. Some of you are nodding. Because sometimes I just leave it for a home finance, but I think I did touch on that. So we're just going to do one table. That's going to be it for today. Okay, I'm going to get you started, and you're going to fill in the rest. Oh. Page 9, mortgage schedules, amortization tables. It's all the same. Good. All right. Pages 6 to 8. Those the key to pages 6 to 8 is posted. So if you need more help with payments and stuff, that's what you work through. Okay. Mortgage schedules or amortization table, the same thing. Mortgage schedule tracks monthly payments over a period of time. Now, I want to be very clear because I need you to understand. I don't want you to just blindly do things. Remember this mortgage here? There's an amortization schedule right here. Let's make this more realistic. Let's go 25 years. Here. So your payment is that. There's an amortization schedule. Oops. There. See how the bank has it for every single payment? So over 25 years, you will have made 301 payments, because that last payment of 23 cents, they have to charge that, right? But technically 300 payments. So watch, your payment stays the same. You see that? It's $1,578.06. But what changes? The interest and the principal changes, right? So we're gonna just do 3 months max. Like, we're not gonna do the whole mortgage, but I need you to understand that this keeps on going till the very end, okay? All right, so example 1. Fill in the monthly payment chart for a house valued at $185. There's a down payment of $25,000, and the interest rate is 6% over 25 years. Start the chart with the unpaid balance as equity, right? I will get rid of the equity column, so you can scratch that, because that's not 100% accurate, because the house also increases in value, so I just like to leave that out. We're going to start with the monthly payment first. We're going to do this first, okay? Then move our way to the towards the right. So to find the payment, you need to calculate this. We're going to take 185,000, subtract 25,000, look just like we've always done. and we're going to use 6% over 25 years to get this rate. Okay, 6% over 25 years. 640. That's what I have. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, 640 is that rate that I need to plug in there. 160,000 times that divided by 1,000. I'm just going to give you the answer here because I know you know how to do that. No, sorry. 1,024. That is what it is per month. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that goes into this. Bless you. So you want to have dollar signs. Why am I doing that there? 1,024 goes into this column because the payment remains the same. Always remember this, folks, that the payment is always made up of these two components, right? These two always add up to the payment, okay? So let's start with our unpaid balance. The unpaid balance is 160,000. So this is all blocked off. So we start owing 160,000. Make sure you have a dollar sign there. And for the interest, I'm gonna put the formula up here. I is equal to the loan unpaid balance, right, times interest divided by 100, all of that divided by 12. Can you see that? Unpaid balance times interest rate divided by 100, all of that divided by 12. Let's see if I can manage that. So at the very beginning, the unpaid balance is 160,000, so you have to be careful. Don't use up too much room. Times, what's my interest rate? It's 6% in this case, 0.06 if you divide it by 100. And all of that gets divided by 12. That's how you get this answer here. Okay. So you go ahead and type that in. I'm going to do that as well. Make sure you double check your answer. Don't trust it blindly. In this case, it's a nice round number. It's 800 bucks. Okay. So I'm going to move over now. I'm going to do this here. This is pretty good. So to get our principal, we just go payment minus I. Okay. Should we put I here on this? Like put a little I here. That's the lowercase I. Right? So we take our payment and we subtract 800 from it to get 224. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't need to write this down. No. You just have to know how to get it. And then this, folks, this takes away from the unpaid balance. The 224 goes here. So we go, right, 160,000 minus 224. It's going to be a small dent. So you're going to be you might be discouraged at the beginning, but that's just how it goes. If you have a choice in life, like I want to work hard now to pay off more or pay off later when I'm older, do it now because most of the interest is paid at the beginning. So that's when you want to be more aggressive. If you have a choice, we don't often have a choice, right? Okay, this value gets carried over. You know how we use the 160 here, right? Now you only owe this much. So we go 159,776, Everything else stays the same in this case. Sorry, this is times, folks, not divide. It's divide by 12 at the end there. So I don't think you're going to be able to fit the work in every time, but this is just for, so your interest now is a little bit less, $798.88. $798.88, which is what you want. You want to pay a little bit less interest on the second month, right? Then you take your payment and subtract $798.88 from it to get you that value. That's $225.12. See how this is going up? The other one is going down. That's exactly what you want. Minus $225.12. That's $159,550.88. And one more. Let's see if I'm gonna be able to fit this, and I do, right? So you take that one over here, and there you get $797.75. Goes down a little bit. You go 1,024 minus 797.75. You're gonna have to practice this. If you have vehicle finance, if you added this to your vehicle finance study sheet, you are good to go. Like technically nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the amounts, right? We're dealing with bigger amounts here. Minus 226.25, you end up with 159,324.63. So after 3 months, you still owe quite a bit, right? How much interest did you pay over 3 months? If you added this up, right? If you add up all these three values here, let me just go, I actually did that already. You paid $2,396.63 interest over 3 months. How much did you pay payment wise? It's about $3,000, right? $3,000. 2,400 of that is interest. That's gone. That's their profit. So you must understand why they love mortgages. It's secure for them because if you drop the ball, they get the house, right? So it's a win-win for them. It's a win-win-win in every aspect, right? So if you have parents that are they're bankers or something, I'm not against it. I think it's a good business model. I'm just saying they know what they're doing, right? All right, guys. Thank you. There will be NAC on this tomorrow. Okay, so if you want to practice, I will post the key to the questions that follow it, 10 and 11. Okay.